Don't try to sneak into your room like that. I know what you've got behind your back. Records. More new records.
So today is the day that this record that I have produced with my friend Robin Wyatt is dropping on Acoustic Sounds, Music Direct, and Elusive Disc. So you can buy it there. And why would you want to buy this record? I'll tell you about this record. So last January, a friend of ours, Jim Luce, who's a concert promoter, who had stopped promoting concerts when COVID hit and was just getting back into the game last January, held a series of small concerts at the Klavierhaus, which is a piano showroom in Midtown Manhattan. And so on a cold, rainy January, Robin and I decided we would go to the Klavierhaus in support of our friend Jim. So we went, and we sat, and a bunch of young pianists played one after another. Each took 20 minutes or whatever, and they were good. And then all of a sudden, Rufus Reid walks in with his big double bass, and I knew who Rufus Reid was, and Robin knew who Rufus Reid was. And Rufus set up his bass and introduced young Caelan Cardello, who none of us had heard of. And then Jim says, so I've known Rufus a real long time, long time. And I said, Rufus, who's the next cat? Who's the guy that's going to come along and show us something new? And Rufus says, Caelan Cardello. And then the two of them start to play. And after the first song, and all it took was the first song. First of all, you could hear how wonderful Caelan was, and the mood that he put you in, and his fearlessness on the keyboard, and his light touch. And, I hate to say it reminds me of, because you don't want to pigeonhole people into something else because he's totally unique. But I said to Robin, this reminds me of like a young Bill Evans. He's light on his fingers, and it makes me feel good. And the two of them together, it's like they're amazing together. And then Rufus says, after I think the second tune, he goes, Caelan and I have never played together. We met about an hour before the show and worked out the tunes we were going to play. But what you're hearing is us. And, jazz musicians, we like the unknown. Most people don't like the unknown, but we like the unknown. And so you're hearing us playing for the first time. And that made it even more amazing. And I said, Robin, this should have been recorded. It's a shame. And he goes, it is being recorded. Our friend Duke Markos, look at the microphones. I didn't even notice the microphones. There are microphones placed all over the place. Duke is a very good engineer. Duke does a lot of live stuff for WBGO in Newark, and also for the Kennedy Center. He's a very good engineer, and he's done some projects for Robin previously. So when it was over, and it was an hour's worth of, it was wonderful. I went over to Rufus, and usually you don't do anything, and then the next day you go, gee, I should have done something. I missed an opportunity. Well, I did not miss the opportunity. I said to Rufus, Rufus, if this came out good, if it sounds really good, I want to release this on vinyl. Can I do that? And he said, sure, we'll work something out, sure. And I said, Caelan, can I put this out on vinyl? And Caelan said, yeah, that sounds great to me too. So then I went backstage to meet Duke, who I've known, and Duke said hello, and then Duke turned to they videoed the whole thing too. And we haven't done anything with the video yet, but it's all there if we want to do something with it, which maybe we will. And so Duke says to the videographer, I want you to meet my friend Michael Fremer. And without missing a beat, he says, oh, WBCN, 1974. So it was like, okay, this was meant to be. And then after a short spell, Duke did a rough mix for us and sent it to us. And we got back to Duke a few times. This went on for a couple of weeks, back and forth. Changes to the mix, changes to the EQ, changes to the bottom end. I used my home speaker. I wanted it to sound, listen, we're paying for this thing. I wanted it to sound good on my stereo, excuse me. So when I got it really, really good, I said, let me just send it to Joe Harley. Let me see what his opinion is. I sent it to Joe, and Joe came back with suggestions for how we could make the staging, make the appearance of just two instruments sound more enticing on the soundstage. So we did a little image shifting per Joe's suggestions. And then, just on a whim, I Dropboxed it to Bob Ludwig, who needs no introduction. And I said, Bob, what do you think of this? And Bob got back to me and said, you know what? I think this is really incredible. I think in another couple of years, everyone is going to know Caelan Cardello. I want to master this for you. And so I said to Robin, I said, Robin, we decided we were going to do this and not worry about the money. We're doing this because we think this is a wonderful performance, that Caelan is going to go places, and the performance is amazing. And we decided whatever it costs to do this, we're going to have fun. And we're not going to worry about the money. If we make money, great. If we break even, great. If we lose money, it's okay. It's an adventure, and we're both having a great time doing this. And we said, okay, Bob, you can master it. So a few weeks later, we got back the final files from Gateway Mastering. And I don't know what Bob did, but, the genius of mastering is you don't know what was done, but it's better than what you gave. If it's a good recording. If it's a bad recording, the mastering engineer has to try to save your ass, but that wasn't the problem here because it was good when we sent it. But it came back that much better. So then it was a matter of who's going to cut it, who's going to play it, where is it going to be pressed, who's going to distribute. And we both decided the best place to do that would be at Quality Record Pressing with Chad Kassem, because he's got Doug Sax's mastering lab set up right there at Blue Heaven Church. So it could be cut there, it could be plated there, it could be pressed there, all in one shot. So Matthew Lutthans did the cutting, sent us test acetates. They sounded great, and we said, go for it. And so it got plated, and we got test pressings, and then we had to hire somebody to do the artwork. So it turns out I'm working with Patrick Leonard on a project. Now, some of you know Patrick Leonard. He produced Amused to Death with Roger Waters, and he also produced the last 3 Leonard Cohen records, those wonderful, wonderful final 3 records. So I said, Patrick, you know any good art directors? And so Patrick recommended a fellow named Greg Greenwood, and Greg Greenwood produced this cover, which we love, and Rufus loved, and Caelan loved, because it has a kind of a Blue Note kind of feel to it. So the original title of the record that we liked was Who's the New Cat, which was the title that, based on what Jim Luce had said at the beginning of the show. But Caelan and Rufus didn't dig it, so you know what? We didn't use it. We used Rufus Reid Presents Caelan Cardello. And we think this jacket looks beautiful, and it's a Stoughton Press tip-on jacket. And then we got this guy, Michael Fremer, who likes to talk about himself. He's such an egomaniac, to write the annotation. And this picture at the actual event was taken by Robin with his iPhone. It's a great picture. And then the pictures on the back were taken by Robin's daughter, Jackie, who's a wonderful dog photographer and did a very good job with Caelan as well. So that's the package. Everybody came through on this, and that's it. There's more to the story involving, Caelan and Rufus are going to be playing November 20th at Dizzy's in New York in support of the record. So if you're in New York and you want to see them play some of the stuff they do on this record. Oh, the one thing I didn't say, I don't think I said it, is that Rufus and Caelan had never played together when they sat down and made this record. They had never played together. Rufus had been watching Caelan play around New York and decided that this jazz piano marathon that Jim Luce was producing would be the perfect place for them to play together. So they sat down about an hour before the show and chose the tunes, which are standards that both of them like. There's a Thad Jones track. Rufus had played with Thad Jones. Cedar Walton, Paul Chambers, and one of Rufus's originals, Benny Golson, Tad Dameron. So, classic songs that they both knew and loved, and that's what they did. So that's what this is. And I knew nothing about Caelan when I decided that we should do this. Nothing. I only found out later that Christian McBride and his wife Melissa have been following Caelan since he was 11 and was part of the Jazz Kids program that Melissa runs. So all of this came about almost by accident, and I'm so glad that Robin and I decided to go for it and do this. And I am so proud of this project. It came out wonderfully. I think this is just the beginning of Caelan's recording career and his concert performance career. And you can get this at Music Direct, Acoustic Sounds, and Elusive Disc. And I think you'll really enjoy it. We've played it for people at the Munich show. I played it for people at the Harlem Making Vinyl event a couple of weeks ago, and people really dug it. They played one side of it, and everybody applauded as if it was a live concert. It's great. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you check it out. And I'm so proud of this project, and I'm so happy that we followed through and did it instead of it being one of those, gee, we shoulda, we coulda, we mighta, because we did it. Thanks for watching.